I really am tired of hearing people tell me that they like treating ACLs when they don't even, they aren't in the research, they aren't shadowing people, they aren't trying to really consistently learn about it. Again, just because you like treating something doesn't give you the right to do so, right? You find a surgeon that specializes in ACL rehab, find a physical therapist that also specializes in ACL rehab. It will make a world of difference for you. They should be able to explain to you every little detail along the way. And if they don't, again, I think it's worth your time to go find someone new. Hey guys, I just wanted to record a little bit of a preface video before we kind of dive into the rest of the video, as some people may misinterpret what I'm saying because it is kind of a bold statement in regards to, if you suck at treating ACLs, you should stop treating them. It is honestly more so directed at, PTs, ATCs, and people like that who are working with ACLs who frankly don't care. People who aren't trying to be in the literature, people who aren't consistently learning more, people who don't have a strength and conditioning background and aren't even trying to learn that, people who are clearing patients way too early, they aren't even doing any type of formal testing, and if they are doing testing, it's like the bare minimum of testing, and still releasing kids at 7 months to go back to their sports. No psychological testing. Those are the people that this is directed at. And honestly, I've worked with people like that before in the past, and in my opinion, those are the ones who really shouldn't be working with ACLs at all. So this is definitely not directed at, PT students, anyone like that who is out there consistently trying to learn, utilizing resources out there, trying to actively learn. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of clarification before you guys dive into the rest of the video. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. What do I feel like is one of, if not the biggest problem when it comes to ACL rehab? In my opinion, it comes down to the practitioner, whether it's the physical therapist or the athletic trainer. Usually those two are the most common types of professionals that are working with ACLs after surgery. And then you're talking about maybe in the later phases, you're working with strength coaches later on to really work on that progressive loading phase. In my opinion, a lot of people really don't understand the full spectrum of ACL rehab. And again, in my opinion, I think that the whole spectrum of ACL rehab from start to finish there is a lot of brokenness when it comes to it, a lot of disconnect. And I think that's why we look at re-tear rates and they're still in the 20 to 25%. And again, re-tear rates, I qualify as both the same side or the other side. I just put them second tears, right? That doesn't matter if it's the same or the other side. And I hear a lot, and I think back to myself included when I was a younger clinician, I always thought I liked treating ACLs. I hear that a lot, even through social media, and I've heard from other people before that I've worked with in the past where I like treating ACLs. And to be honest and to be blunt, just because you like treating ACLs does not make you qualified to do so. There is so much that goes into the rehab process from start to finish. And truthfully, a lot nowadays we treat ACL rehab as if it is like a grade 1, grade 2 ankle sprain. You're kind of given this generic protocol that still, we just got one the other day that said that return to sport should be at 16 weeks or return to sport activity, whatever you want to call it, at about 16 weeks. And it's just ridiculous that these protocols still exist out there. So you have these people that say that they like working with ACLs, who maybe is a new grad, or maybe he's just someone who's been in the profession for 15, 20 years and continues to blindly follow this protocol and just is still releasing these people. And maybe it's the facility also, right? I talk about the facility a lot, where it really makes a big difference as far as having the capabilities of getting someone back. My old job, the heaviest dumbbell we had was 10 pounds. We had no squat rack, no trap bar, no open space. Like physically, it was impossible to get someone back from all the way back from post-op to return to sport. Additionally, we have no means of doing return to sport testing minus the hop tests and maybe a wide balance test. But there's no type of handheld dynamometer, no Kaiser, no force plates, none of this kind of stuff, no inline dynamometer to do actual testing. So there's and that's, to be honest, that's really common in those type of more typical facilities out there, and those are still more common. And on top of that, again, this is based on my experience. A lot of times what happens is, let's say you're a parent and your kid tears their ACL. Okay, so you go see the doctor. They tell you, oh, go find a physical therapist, or maybe they tell you to go to the physical therapy place that they own, right? So what you do is, okay, you call the front desk and it's like, hi, my son or daughter is about to get surgery and they're looking for physical therapy for after surgery. Okay, so you're looking for probably after school hours, right? 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. So all they really do, again, this is based on my experience, they don't really think about who they're matching with. They're looking for availability, right? So they just look at the first person, like, okay, here you go. This PT is available on, you know, the Tuesday after your surgery. Can you make this time, 4 o'clock? Sure, yes, sign them up. And then you're basically stuck with that physical therapist for however long you decide to do the rehab for. When that person maybe doesn't like treating ACLs, sucks at treating ACLs, doesn't know what the heck they're doing, the full spectrum, but then you talk about, okay, then why do people still get hurt? Why do people get hurt 2 weeks after they go back into practices? Or why do they suffer a tear their first season back? It's because of the lack of preparation. You know, the way that I frame it is like, for me, I specialize in ACL rehab. It's what I know how to do. It's what I understand how to do. I'm not going to spend time, for me, if someone were to come in with like a Tommy John surgery, for me, I would personally decline them. I would be like, this is not my scope. I would refer them to Teddy, who does know how to do that, or find someone locally that does know how to do that, because it's not really under my scope of practice necessarily. Can I physically do it? Of course. But am I providing them the highest level of care? Of course not. And again, for when it comes back to ACL rehab, you can screw up someone with ACL rehab, right? You can screw them up in a sense that you can cause them to have a second tear, which maybe will lead to a third tear, and maybe their career, as far as their sporting goes, is done forever. You know, my general philosophy is that once is enough, right? Let's rehab the right way the first time. If I have to hold you out for an extra month to 10, 11, 12 months, that's okay in the big picture if I never have to see you again for your knee. As opposed to, let's rush you back at 7 months and then you're back and then you get hurt at month 9 when you really were never tested, and, you know, just a lack of preparation and all that. And it's a constant frustration of mine, because I really am tired of hearing people tell me that they like treating ACLs when they don't even, they aren't in the research, they aren't shadowing people, they aren't trying to really consistently learn about it. Again, just because you like treating something doesn't give you the right to do so. You should be out there consistently trying to learn. And I think back to, you know, when I was a young clinician, and I really was, again, I enjoyed treating ACLs, and I just blindly followed this protocol from point A to point B. Like, did I screw someone up, right? Did I not get someone all the way back to 100%, which is what our job should be if you are saying that you treat ACLs? And truthfully, when I reflect back to my early career, the answer is probably yes. I probably did screw up someone. I probably didn't get them all the way back. And, you know, I really just hope that they are functional and are able to, you know, hopefully they continue strength training, which is what I did encourage back in the day and still encourage now, and that they did eventually get back to 100%. And yeah, it's just something that continued to frustrate me, because I really do feel like this is one of, if not the biggest missing component when it comes to ACL rehab. There's got to be more education. There's got to be people who are willing to dive into it. And in a perfect world, even if you work in kind of a bigger place, you know, my last job, we had 16 some therapists on staff. Ideally, there would have been 1 to 2 therapists there that kind of specialize in rehab and is able to kind of pour into, you know, younger clinicians who wanted to learn more about it. And those end up being, you know, the 4 to 5 clinicians that treat ACLs. Because truthfully, there were plenty of coworkers that I had in the past that didn't, you know, they weren't really athletes. They didn't really understand strength conditioning. They really honestly had no business treating ACLs. And I think that is plenty of therapists out there. And if you have no interest in doing it and you don't have a background and you aren't willing to learn, again, stop treating ACLs. It's something, again, I am very passionate about, because going through my second ACL tear, I don't blame anyone for it. Research was a little bit different 12 some years ago, but it's caught up now. You know, we have a lot more research that supports, you know, safely getting back to play, and yet there are still plenty of people releasing kids at 7 months post-op without any formal testing. There are still plenty of PT facilities that just release kids at 4 months because their insurance cuts them off. And, you know, in those type of situations, I understand you have to make the best of what you have, but maybe have a relationship with a local strength coach or a gym facility that, hey, can we send our mid to late stage ACLs to you, and can we continue to build this and foster this relationship so we can work together to get our athletes, our patients, even our active adults, all the way back to rehab, and not just, you know, blindly release them at 7, 5, 80%. When you're putting them at risk for a second injury. I've heard and seen so many stories where, you know, one that sticks off the top of my head, where I had a 14-year-old girl. She came in to see me. She was about 6 to 7 months post-op. She came in and she had negative 14 degrees of extension. She wasn't even close to getting 0 degrees. She was released at PT at about 3 to 4 months because, and the PT, I kid you not, told her that she was okay and good enough and that she could do the rest of rehab on her own. They told this to a 14-year-old girl who was trying to get back to playing sports again. I've had a bunch of athletes in the past before where, you know, their extension isn't even full yet, and yet they start to load, they start to jump, they start to do movement and lateral stuff. I've had an athlete in the past before where they did lateral shuffling before they even worked on anything forward. And it's just, there's no real concept why people are doing things. Again, these people are just blindly following this protocol from point A to point B. Again, most of these protocols are significantly out of date. So for you know, again, for those of you who have chosen to follow me and support what I do, I genuinely do appreciate it. My goal is to, at the end of the day, leave this profession in a better place, specifically regarding ACL rehab, because I think it is a very niche market that really is underserved and really is honestly underappreciated. The grind is very real, as I'm going through right now for the second time, and people just don't understand the psychological side, obviously the physical side. It's a full comprehensive thing that really needs to go into the patient that comes in the door. And it's not just like, hey, go do your 3 or 4 exercises, I'll check up on you in 10 minutes, come back and give you another 3 or 4 exercises, back and forth. So for those of you who are rehabbing from ACL rehab, I strongly encourage you to find a therapist that really does understand. They should be able to confidently explain to you what they're going to be doing at every phase of rehab. They should be able to confidently explain to you like when you'll be jogging. It should not be some blind 12 weeks, oh, you're going to start jogging. You know, I tell people, these are the things I'm looking for before I clear you to jog. Okay, then what about when can I return to practice? Okay, when can I return back to sports? They should be able to confidently explain to you, these are the things I'm looking for. This is what you need to pass before you can get cleared to play full contact sports again. And if they don't have that understanding, truthfully, I think you should find someone new. It's at the end of the day, it's something that, you know, they need to be able to understand. They need to be able to confidently explain to you, just like you would for a surgeon, right? You find a surgeon that specializes in ACL rehab. Find a physical therapist that also specializes in ACL rehab. It will make a world of difference for you. They should be able to explain to you every little detail along the way. And if they don't, again, I think it's worth your time to go find someone new. There are good therapists out there. There are good trainers out there. There are good strength coaches out there that really do understand progressive loading, understand the proper return to sport process, understanding testing. These are all things that go into the whole spectrum of ACL rehab. It's not just an ankle sprain. It's not just something like, hey, just do these exercises 4 or 5 times and then do them a few times for a few weeks and then you're back out there playing again with no issues. This is something that you really can screw up and really can negatively or positively affect someone's life moving forward. So again, you know, I appreciate you guys who have listened to me rant. For those of you who are interested, I have started an ACL Mastering Group, which you'll see again in the next clip as well. But at the end of the day, it's a resource that is available for clinicians, whether you are a PT, a student, a strength coach, an ATC, anything like that that works with ACLs and you are interested in learning more. It's a resource that I'm very passionate about, a resource that I wish I had when I was a clinician, because it just allows you to learn how to progressively get people better. And I haven't looked at a protocol in years. What I typically care about from post-op is obviously weight bearing status, range of motion limitations, surgery, graft choice. Those are the big things. I don't care about the actual protocol for loading because I think that most of them, if not, well, yeah, most of them are severely outdated. And at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that person A is going to rehab the same as person B or person C. Everything needs to be 1000% individualized, which is why I don't follow protocol. I just gradually get people better, load them gradually to their own tolerance, because some people might be able to progress a little faster. I myself am a little bit slower. I'm jogging slower than some other people are, and that's okay, right? It's my rehab, it's my journey. So yeah, I developed this resource. It's a mastermind group. It's currently over 300 some videos. Every 3 weeks I add more videos, It's continuously growing. It's just a database where there's video breakdowns, exercises, movements, treatment philosophies, rehab complications, case studies, assessments, the list goes on. And on top of that, there's also an exercise library that ranges from, you know, quad exercises, hamstrings to glutes, plyometrics, movements from like organized structured movements all the way to kind of chaotic, sport-specific, reactive movements. Obviously, that's more the late stage, but everything's kind of broken down in there. You can also even log on to the app on your phone, which allows you to use it in the clinic. If you have ACLs under caseload, you can kind of scroll through it and get some ideas to, gradually progress your patients as well. So I appreciate you guys listening to this rant. And if any of you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them below. I love engaging with you guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to like and subscribe and share it on your social media platforms. If you're interested, I have started an ACL Mastering Group, which is a growing library of content centered around ACL rehab. It has exercises ranging from immediate post-op to late-stage sport-specific movements and everything in between. It's a growing library and currently holds over 250 videos. There's content centered around assessments, movement breakdowns, exercise breakdowns, case studies, and a whole lot more. You also gain access to a private forum where you can engage with like-minded people, ask questions, share research articles, and share resources. If you're interested, please feel free to click the link below. Thank you for watching.